You are Locked On Hurricanes Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Hurricane fans? My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Welcome to another edition of your Canes Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. And Mazda, like our players, we sweat every detail, unlike our coaching staff, because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning, like losing a game the way they did today. Stay tuned later for lowlights in this week's Moving the Game Backward. Mazda, move and be moved. Again, Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. This is your postcast. We're going to get right to it. Got to get to Alex Dono, who's on a tight schedule, and we're going to do that in just a second. Stay right here because I have so much to say about today's game.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Let's bring him in right now because we were texting during the game, and Alex, there is no other way to describe this game than a complete and utter failure by Mario Cristobal, a complete and utter failure by Shannon Dawson's Creek, and a complete and utter failure in big moments by so many players in white jerseys today for the Miami Hurricanes. And unfortunately, late in the game, it ends up being Carson Beck after he bailed the coaches out all day long, and he ends up being the GOAT in a game where he was literally hung out to dry by his own coaches for most of it.
Yeah, whenever, I'm covering a team, and obviously I love Miami. I don't just cover them. I love this program as you do. We live and die orange and green. When you lose a game, I try to first, take the biases out of it and give credit to the opponent. And I guess you could give credit to SMU for just making fewer idiot, stupid mistakes than Miami did. But this loss was on Miami. SMU should be very, very fortunate that you faced a team that found basically every possible way to implode, right? From the calls to the execution. And listen, I look at it, to me, this is not a black and white issue when it comes to the penalties, because I do believe that the ACC officials made some horrific calls that cost Miami in some big spots. But I also believe Miami committed enough of their own penalties that were unforced errors that both of those things are inexcusable, right? When you allow the margins, when you're going up against a team that you should be dominating, that you should be blowing out, because talent for talent, SMU is very clear on that field. And they already have some guys banged up and all that, so maybe if they were 100% healthy, the talent would have looked more comparable, but it doesn't look comparable, Grease. Miami should be blowing them out. And so, okay, you get to a point where the margins are so thin that you allow a couple of awful, typical ACC referee calls, because they're good for those in every single game.
The one on Lightfoot was atrocious.
It was atrocious. The sequence where they didn't call a pass interference, but they did call a holding when they called the holding on CC, which was borderline non-call, and they didn't call the pass interference that was an absolute call that should have been made. Stuff like that, you can't expect, unfortunately, better from this conference. And then after all of that, you have an opportunity in overtime. And I don't think any of us felt good heading into overtime because we could see the way that game was trending. But you had your opportunity in overtime. You seemed to be moving the ball. You had picked up a first down. And then, Beck tries to
5 times in a row.
Yeah.
You run the same play 5 times in a row, and then you put Carson Beck in another 3rd and long, and the play was working, but you take Fletcher out after he's dominating the whole game. You put Martin.
I think he was hurt. I think Fletcher was banged up, I think is why.
12 penalties for 96 yards. I mean, they dominated the first half like you've never seen. I don't think SMU had positive rushing yardage heading into the overtime. Then they stuff it down our throats and do nothing but run plays to win the game. And even though Heatherman and the defense have been immune to a lot of the criticism, look, they still haven't allowed 30 points in a game, but they did allow the big drive to start the second half. They did allow the drive that won the game in overtime. So certainly big penalties committed on defense, but Alex, it was mostly the offense going backward.
Oh, yeah.
Illegal snap, a bunch of holds, false starts all over the place. They just weren't ready to play.
I can't put this on the defense. You're right. The offense somehow, and you can say the last several years, Miami gets worse later in the season. That's been a noticeable trend. But in this case, the defense played well enough to win this game. The offense did not. And, But before I run, I'll just say that obviously the big picture stuff, Greece, is starting to look very bleak here. This was essentially your playoff. I mean, every game since the loss to Louisville was basically a college football playoff game for Miami, because your percentages, the opportunities, and I'm sure once all these games have been played today, we'll be able to crunch the numbers and see what has to happen for Miami to get into the CFP or the ACC championship game, or both. But it's almost zero now, Greece. Like your margin for error ends today, and you're going to need miracles from a bunch of teams suffering upset losses from here on out. So unfortunately, I know Miami still has 4 games to play now this season, and they're going to try to finish the season strong. They're going to try to get to 10 wins, and I hope they do. I want them to keep fighting, and I want them to play better than they did today and show us that you can point that trajectory back upwards. But the bottom line is, it's very likely that your opportunity at meaningful postseason play came to an end today, and it sucks. And I'll have to leave you on that note, Greece. Keep rocking it here on the POSTCAST, and I appreciate all the everyday. I know we're all in pain today, and we'll certainly, throughout the rest of Greece's POSTCAST and throughout the upcoming week on Locked On Canes, we'll try to sort this all out and give the best coverage we possibly can.
Alex, I'm going to leave you with this. In the last 3 games, they've put it all together for 2 quarters. The second half against a terrible Stanford team who they should have hung 70 points on. 2 good quarters in 3 games. All right, man. Enjoy the QAM show. I kind of say that tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but I will be there.
Money on days like today, man. Always good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you, man. Go Canes.
Take care. Oh, man, that's just brutal. I mean, what are you going to do? They've played 2 complete quarters where they were able to put it all together, and that was the second half against Stanford, right? The whole Louisville game was a disaster. They were playing in quicksand the whole time. The penalties haven't been corrected. They run the same stupid draw plays up the middle 1,000 times. In the first half, they were working today. I've not seen – I was texting people at halftime, and if you knew the people I were texting, one of them was Alex. Man, it just is unbelievable when you look at this. And I'm texting former players at this point. Hey, Mario, why don't you focus on banning more Hall of Famers instead of winning games? Why don't you focus on banning Willis McGahee? Why don't you keep letting Evan Shapiro get in your head, bro? Why don't you keep doing that? Because it's working so damn well for you. Why does this scared university with their scared administrators, ever since Donna Shalala, we've had 2 good seasons in 25 years. And you ban Willis McGahee. That's what you should be focusing on, right? Oh, they say negative things about the university. We have to protect our image and our brand. What image? What brand? You stink. You have no brand. You have no image. You can't win a damn thing. What are you talking about, your image? What are you talking about, your brand? How about you get your kids ready to show up and play these last 3 weeks? How about you give them what you owe them and what you sold Carson Beck on when you brought him here? How about you get them coaches who know what they're doing and don't have 17 seconds on a play clock but still feel like they have to call a timeout with 1 second left? They did it to Lightfoot and caused the penalty, called a timeout with no time on the play clock when the defensive ends met at the quarterback. They did it to Carson Beck when he got the playoff. They called a timeout when he got the snap. One of the coaches tried to touch him on the sideline. He yanks his arm away. How good do you think Carson Beck's feeling about his decision to come to the University of Miami? Now, with this inept coaching staff, with this inept offensive coordinator, let's call it what it is. I don't care what the university says about me. I don't care what the university does about me. I don't work for them. I'm here for me, and I'm here for you. For you, not for the people who are running it into the ground like they have been since Donna Shalala, since the day Butch Davis left. And before that, even when Dennis Erickson was handed the keys with Jimmy Johnson's players, and it all came out in the wash when Alabama beat the crap out of us in the national championship game in 1992. Gino won his Heisman. Everything was great. Alabama smoked us. We were never the same. We make that comeback under Butch Davis, who, by the way, came from Jimmy. We had Howard. We had Jimmy. I don't want to dump on Dennis. This isn't the show for that, but I'll tell you this. He had Jimmy's guys when he was winning, and when he didn't win. Warren Sapp didn't win anything. Ray Lewis didn't win anything. I'm tired of this. I am tired of this. I went to the University of Miami in the mid-90s. I was coming off that great era. When I was in school there, they blew the home streak against Washington, and it was all downhill. Then Butch Davis comes in. Pete Garcia's with him. All that stuff is going on. Hey, 2002, Dorsey and those guys ran out of time at Washington. The fake pass interference against Ohio State could have been 3 in a row, right? One of the greatest teams of all time, the 01 national championship team. The administration, the athletic directors, and the coaches since Butch Davis have run this thing back into the ground, and every time we think it's coming up, it is fool's gold. Every time they get lucky, and they did get lucky on Cam Ward. Make no mistake about it. There's some skill there, yes, but they got very lucky. No one expected Cam to do what he did. They got very lucky. And now this year, you beat Notre Dame, you beat Florida, you beat Florida State, you beat USF, you win all these games. You blow it against Louisville. You blow it. SMU did not belong on the field against Miami today. The halftime statistics, 10 first downs to 4, 227 to 121 total yards. 93 of them came on 3 plays. One was a drop by JoJo Trader on a juggling pass from Beck that turned into a pick. Next play, touchdown, right? Passing yards, 157 to 127, 93 on 3 plays. Rushing yards, 70 to -6. Time of possession, 20:08 to 9:52. Oh, yes, 8 penalties for 60 yards. A season high at halftime. Wait till you hear the end of game numbers on that, because halftime's supposed to be for what? What, Mario? What, Dawson? Corrections, right? Halftime is for what? What? Corrections. Did you see any corrections? No. I saw SMU and Lashley, who got a ton of money, who used to be at our school, and all these other former Hurricanes who used to be there. The corrections were made by SMU at halftime. First downs were only 23 to 20, 433 to 388 total yards. The rushing yards ended up being 159 to 23. 25 of those rushing yards came in overtime. They had -2 rushing yards at the end of the game, and you're going to overtime by the grace of God on a missed field goal that missed by the sliver of an inch. That field goal miss. Otherwise, you lose in regulation. I'm tired of Mario Cristobal focusing and the athletic department focusing on banning Willis McGahee and worrying about Nevin Shapiro all these years later, decades. Why don't you worry about your own damn team? Why don't you coach your own damn team? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Why don't you make an adjustment? Just one at halftime. Make one adjustment. I would have been thrilled to death if they made one. And I'm sick of sugarcoating this. I don't work for WQAM. I don't work on the post game. I don't work for the university. Thank God I don't. I did in the past. And you know what they told me? This is the God's honest truth, and I will swear on my kids' lives. They didn't want me to run as the executive producer of the Randy Shannon Coaches Show. They did not want me to run a tribute to Sean Taylor when he was murdered in his own home because it would look bad on the university. Those are the kind of people who need to be out of here forever and never come back. Now, I don't know what happened to Mario. I'm not on the inside, but you ban Willis McGahee, and you get what you deserve. I'm sorry, you got what you deserve. Keep banning legends, right? You're lucky the legends even show up when you suck for 25 years. You're lucky the legends even stand on that damn sideline in back of you, Mario, or anybody associated with this program right now other than the players who deserve so much better than what they are getting. What do you think that locker room's thinking right now? The coaches let them down. The coaches let them down. The penalties are the players' fault. They committed them. They weren't ready to play. That a lot of that is coaching, but the coaches burning timeouts at the end of play clocks. Are you kidding me? Beck got the snap off. On defense, you burn a timeout. The defensive ends are meeting at the quarterback, and you call a timeout before that happens. Overcoaching, overthinking. They're in their own heads. I'm not a coach. I don't pretend to be. If they watch this, they're going to hate me, but I don't care. Because right now, I hate this whole thing way, way more than anybody could ever put on me. And if you want to give me a hard time, anybody wants to say that I'm out of line for what I'm saying right now, watch the damn game and then tell me I'm wrong. Watch the game and tell me my points are off base. Watch the game and tell me when you hold a team to -2 yards rushing that they should even be on the field with you by the fourth quarter. This is a disgrace. This is an embarrassment. And this is something that should never happen with the kind of talent you have on the field. And before you go, oh, Grease, you're killing Mario. Oh, Grease, you're killing Dawson's Creek. And Dawson should be up his own creek without a paddle at this point. You run the same damn running play over and over and over and over again. 100 freaking times in a row. Could not figure out a way to get Tony the ball at all in any kind of space. No hope of even doing that. No hope of even doing that. Daniels is out. Trader played good. Beck spread the ball around. They could not figure out a way to get Tony in any kind of space unless the ball was punted to him. They couldn't down Joyce's 70-plus yard punt inside the 5. They bungled that. That's practice. That's being coached. You know what that is, anybody? Anyone? I know I'm pissed. I know I'm upset, and I'm way late for a break, but man, oh man, at this point in time, I am just so through with watching my team and my alma mater that I love so much be torn apart by people who are afraid of their own shadows and living in this woke world, afraid to upset anybody, afraid to tick anybody off, and oh, we can't have any association with that person or this person, so let's ban one of the greatest running backs, if not the greatest, to ever wear our uniform because of his affiliation with a guy who we tried to burn, by the way, who we sold down the river after everything he did for the program. You can say what you want about Nevin Shapiro, and there's a lot to say, and he admits that. I'm not here to vouch for him in any way, but I'm saying you're still letting this guy get in your head, and you're still letting McGahee go through what he's going through right now on a week when you lose a game like this. What a bad look. What a terrible look for the Miami Hurricanes, for Mario Cristobal, for this coaching staff. I don't want to hear any of them blaming that penalty on Lightfoot, the bad calls. Oh, the refs got it out for us. Bull crap. Your team is not coached well. Period. Point blank. End of story, other than the defense. And even that's a work in progress, okay? They are badly out-coached every week. Coaches are getting fired from LSU and Penn State with better records over the same time span. Look at the winning percentage in November and beyond. It's in the twos. 400 plus percentage points lower than September and October since 2022. What happened then? Hey, inept coaching. 25 years of being mid, of being average, of being less than good at the University of Miami. And if Willis McGahee and those former players are watching this now, I hope they would rally behind him and rally behind me, because this game today and the Louisville game before it were absolutely disgraceful. Anyone who says otherwise, you're not paying attention. It's your Canes postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The old sports radio guy is coming out in me. The Gen X sports radio guy, the one generation that none of you guys want to step on right now and wake us up. I'll tell you that, with all your complaining and whining and bitching, and you can't say this and you can't say that. You can't upset this person and you can't upset that person. Why not? If you suck, you suck, and you need to be told you suck. Period, point blank. Whether you're a kid, whether you're a student, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're me, if you suck, you suck. And it's about time we all start saying it like it is. And that's what I'm doing here on the show. I hope you're enjoying it. It's what should happen after today's game. If you have anything other than this right now on your mind, if you're in any other kind of mood besides this right now after watching that game, you're not a true Hurricanes fan. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, going to step aside, take a break, come back and finish this debacle of a show up after this debacle of a game, the worst loss maybe in the history of the Miami Hurricanes football program in a regular season game, because you think you're going in the right direction and you realize these coaches couldn't coach an elementary school team. And I need to tell you about Mazda's moving the game forward. Nobody moved the game forward for the Hurricanes. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, look, Carson Beck, yeoman-like work just keeping this team in the game. At one point, completed 10 passes in a row. They just do not know how to call an offensive game. They do not know how to have their team ready. I mean, it's a disgrace. And I said to Alex earlier this week, bring back Ken Dorsey. Get Dawson's ass out of here. Get him out of here now. Fire him now. Anyone, look what the Dolphins did with Chris Greer. That was not a mutual decision. GTFOH. Can't even get my letters right? With this University of Miami degree. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's, moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward was, and I'm going to say it, man, in the first half, that run defense for the first 4 quarters of the game, the Miami defensive line and linebackers dominated that FSU front. You know, even if your team lost, how did they keep themselves moving forward? They didn't in overtime. They let them run the ball 25 yards for a touchdown and end up with 23 yards rushing. But no matter what, you go for it. And that is what moves you. So the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. On the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Next up, we have DoorDash. Who delivered? This is like torture for me right now to have to talk about this and pick people who played well after a game like this and a debacle like this and a loss like this. But it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Miami, Ruben Bain Jr. delivered in a big way today. He held up on the play when Lightfoot got whistled for the penalty. It was a terrible call, but Ruben Bain somehow managed to pull up. He did, and he had a big game today as well. So when the pressure was on today, Ruben Bain and that defensive line came through for Miami. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week with Bain, they either hold him or he makes a play. He has been great. And just like Bain delivered for the Canes, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. With DoorDash on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And one more spot before we wrap this up. The NBA's back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of your game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, maybe I can take a breath and somehow process this. I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of losing like this. I'm sick of being way better on the field and having dumb mistakes. Having coaches not have a play ready, and then you have to burn a timeout. Beck didn't have a timeout when Elijah Loftin dropped the pass in the end zone under a minute left in the first half. Beck didn't have a timeout because Mario burned it when he got the play off. Panicking as your coach, not trusting your guy with 40 starts as your head coach. Panics, burns a timeout. They don't have it with less than a minute left because they called him on defense too. So they left Beck with nothing. And throughout the game, I think Beck was making something out of nothing. I'm not on this rip Carson Beck. The first interception was juggled and was right in the hands of JoJo Trader. He had a touchdown pass dropped when a tight end gets hit by a little mini midget playing safety for SMU, who somehow not only knocks the ball loose, he hurts him, and then he's over. Stay on the sideline. If you're hurt by a guy half your size and you drop a touchdown pass, you're not a Miami Hurricane. All right. It's time to start thinking like that. It's time to get that swagger back. It's time to start thinking about the old way this team used to play. Remember, Mario? You played here. Do you remember? I mean, you're mostly an Erickson guy, but do you remember? Do you remember after Jimmy stocked the cupboards and then by the time Dennis had all his guys, he wasn't winning anything? Do you remember those days? Because I do. I was there. All right. So TJ Harden on a 1-yard run, they run right down 25 yards. They had -2 rushing yards during the game. Beck was intercepted on the goal line on a 3rd and long after they ran the same running play to Marty Brown 5 times in a row, which worked 4 times. And then they run it again, and he goes nowhere, right? So it's 3rd and 6, right? And they throw the interception. He had a touchdown pass dropped. He had an interception that was juggled and bungled. Then they put him in a 3rd and 6. Beck should never have thrown that pick. That's on him. That was a bad play. He would tell you that. But Marquise Lightfoot's unnecessary roughness penalty, again, when Bain pulled up. SMU's running no huddle. Mesidor's off the field. The coaches didn't have him out there. Coaching 1,000 times over. Sam Keltner missed a field goal, if you want to call it that. Barely. It would have been good in the NFL. In college, no part of the ball can be over the outside of the upright, and it's not good. And so that saved us from losing in regulation, only to lose in overtime after Rhett Lashley, our former offensive coordinator, signs a 2-year extension with SMU. But, man, 274 yards passing and a couple of touchdowns for Beck. You know, Mario has 25 seconds in a timeout at the end of the game, takes a knee. I mean, good Lord, man. I just can't anymore, okay? I sound like an idiot fan, but I'm not an idiot. Recap and just go through everything I've said and tell me I'm wrong about anything. And the chat's going too fast. I can't even get in there right now. You guys are going nuts, and I don't blame you. This was an awful loss, and you pin it squarely on the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Period, point blank, end of story. It's clearly and obviously on those two. Beck, 26 of 38, 274, 2-2. Fletcher, 16 for 84, wasn't on the field on the overtime drive. Marty Brown, 9 for 37. Jordan Lyle, 7 for 23. JoJo Trader, 5 for 81 and a touchdown, but had the big juggling drop with the pick, led to the touchdown on the next play. Just an awful loss for the Miami Hurricanes. That really hurts them. No chance to play in the ACC title game. They're not going to the playoffs. Playoffs, they're not going to the playoffs. This could be worse than last year because your defense is so much better. And it just is a debacle and a disaster to lose to a vastly inferior team, just like Louisville was, when you get horrifically outcoached by the Brahms and then by Lashley, who used to coach here. Horrifically outcoached in those 2 losses. And they've played 2 complete quarters in the last 3 games. You're supposed to get better as the season goes on. You're not supposed to have your winning percentage drop 488 percentage points by the end of the season every year. You're just not supposed to. You're not supposed to. It is not supposed to happen. At one point, Beck was 6 for 9 on 3rd down. I mean, it just was bad penalty after bad penalty, horrible play calling. The Miami Hurricanes, I just don't even want to keep doing this, but someone has to say something besides Nevin Shapiro, who nobody wants to listen to. But you know what? Living in the past, banning Willis McGahee, go ahead, keep doing dumb stuff like that, because this reminds me of all those years with Grimace, Paul D, and Donna Shalala, and not winning anything. Not winning anything, okay? So 10-7 at halftime. You're outscored 10-7 in the 3rd quarter, and you're out. It's 3-3 in the 4th, 6-0 in overtime. So after the first half, you were outscored 19-10, and you dominated this game, numerically speaking. In the second half, it got a lot closer because you didn't do anything offensively, and they didn't do anything creative to get Tony the ball. Listen to these possessions. I mean, I'm not making this up. You know what I'm saying? It's punt to start the game. You know what I mean? Then they score a touchdown, but after that, it's punt, interception, punt, field goal after a 1st and goal off a Tony punt return, touchdown. Hey, blind squirrel finds an acorn. Downs, turnover, field goal, 10 plays, 49 yards, punt, end of half, interception in overtime. Those were your offensive possessions, and it did not look good. Your offense coordinators got to go. They got to do something. They have to. It's going to be an offensive overhaul at the end of this year. Mario will survive again. Oh, it was my defense. This year, oh, it was my offense. And then next year, hey, where's that going to point, Mario? There's only going to be one place left, bro. You're getting the best talent. You're bringing in great players. I can't take that away from them. But in the NIL and portal era, come on, it's Miami with millions of dollars. You think it's that hard? Ask about him in Oregon, by the way. Ask about Mario in Oregon, all right? And I'm not making any friends in the coaching fraternity right now, and I don't care. I don't care because I call it like it is. I hope you respect it. It is what it is. It's another loss. You have 2. You're 6-2. You're out of the ACC championship. You're out of the playoff after another year when you think you're right there again. And talent-wise, we are there. We are as good as anyone in the country talent-wise. Coaching, D-, maybe a D+ because Heatherman's been great with the defense, but the rest of them, and Jason Taylor, but the rest of them, nah, F, man, as in get the F out of here. All right, that's it for the postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, 26-20, an awful overtime loss, one of the worst. That plane ride, oh my God, I just don't care what Mario or anybody says after that game. I saw what I saw. I said what I said. You want to ban me too? Go ahead. But keep banning legends while you're doing this. The guys you're lucky they're even coming back after 25 years of being terrible. You're lucky Michael Irvin's on that sideline every game and you're blowing it. You're lucky all those guys are coming back. Keep doing what you did to guys like Willis. They won't be. Nobody will be. You'll be back in front of an empty stadium. If that's what you want, all these administrators, we're an academic institution. Keep it up. Keep it up. This has been your Canes Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Don't forget, Alex is a part of the ACC show as well, so don't miss that day in, day out on the network, and as well as Locked On Canes, the Dolphin stuff with myself, Kyle Krabs, and Jeff Scanina. But for now, I'm going to go jump off my balcony, as I'm sure many of you are too. 26-20 SMU in overtime. Miami blows it. The season's over. Wait till next year on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for being here. Try to keep yourself together much better than I did, but sometimes the old sports radio guy comes out in me, and someone in this damn world has to tell it like it is without being so afraid to hurt everybody's freaking feelings. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you next time.